Hello guys, in this video I will start my new section of Mish Please called Keywords. It will be a section that I will interview interesting people of the print-on-demand game and also people that develop software or anything related to passive income or selling online. Okay? For this first video, I have the pleasure and the honor to interview one of the, I think, best YouTubers in the print-on-demand game, that is Philip Anders. I've been following Philip for like 4 years, I think, since I began my journey of print-on-demand, especially on merchant demand. And I have learned many skills and tools. Also, he's the founder of Merch Masterminds. I will leave this link in the description. With Adam, who is also a very good, awesome YouTuber for print-on-demand. Okay, I will ask Phil 10 questions and a bonus question, and you will know more about his work and Merch Mastermind. Hope you enjoyed this new section of interviews, and let's dive into it. Go!
So my first winning niche, if you mean that, was actually camping motorhomes in the UK, and that was quite early on. I think this is one of the first 10 niches I tried on Amazon, on my Amazon merch account, and that I would classify as a winning niche for me, because especially in the early days, that got me multiple shirts to sell regularly and evergreen. I wouldn't say that there was like one winning shirt there that got really like heavy in terms of sales and hundreds of sales every single month consistently. So if you mean that, finding my kind of first bestseller definitely took more than 10 niches. I can't say exactly. It definitely didn't take 100. So it was probably around the 50 mark, like trying around 50 different niches before I found like a strong niche where I could establish a bestseller. That one I don't really want to share on YouTube because I'm still getting sales in it consistently. But the first winning niche in a sense was definitely motorhomes in the UK. And the reason it was that niche is because I had some insight into it. So I knew some people that had a motorhome, and they obviously understood the niche quite well. I'd been on their motorhome and traveled around Europe, so it was just easier to understand the niche without having to do a lot of research, and to come up with new ideas just felt more natural. And it's a big thing in the UK, motorhomes, camping, that kind of stuff. It depends what kind of trending niche you mean. The holiday trends, obviously one thing, your Mardi Gras, St. Patrick's Day, Easter. You can have evergreen niches trending, like the dad niche trends around Father's Day, but like a pure trending niche, I would say, is something that hasn't really been there before. So it could be a funny phrase that's trending on social media, or a new meme, a new concept, a news story. And the way I would kind of identify it is through data. And that is if you see multiple shirts that were uploaded recently, so just a few days ago, or less than a week ago, and these multiple shirts all have a BSR below 1 million, and the lower the better. That to me is a trending niche, right? And I don't mean new shirts uploaded to the cat niche. That's not a new thing. It's an evergreen topic. Yes, there'll be shirts uploaded less than a week ago that have got sales, but I mean like a brand new topic. That's a good one. I think whenever a niche looks amazing on paper, or has looked amazing on paper for me, I've not had it flop. I've always then had some sales at least. Maybe it didn't turn out as good as I thought, and I didn't, create another bestseller in it, but I've never had an amazing looking niche flop totally. what definitely has happened multiple times is that I've tried to enter a trend early and then it's flopped and it didn't turn out as good as I thought. One example of that was last year. I think it was something like Group 7 was trending on social media, or there was a popular video with some sort of joke with Group 7, I think it was, and it looked good in the sense that there wasn't really any shirts on Amazon yet, and it had literally just gone viral on social media, and I uploaded a bunch of shirts, and I think to this day I've sold like 2. So that's what I would consider a niche that looked good on paper perhaps, and flopped, but there wasn't any BSRs yet, so it didn't look amazing. It looked good. It seemed like there was a trend with potential that I could be early to, but it didn't look amazing because there wasn't BSRs yet, so there was a bit of data missing. So yeah, that would be one example, but generally I think that's mostly just happened with trends, which is one reason why I don't like trends a lot, because you can have this experience very often where you think this is going to go well and then your designs never sell. So it can be very hit and miss. Whereas with Evergreen, you know that, at the beginning, the designs will be slow anyway. And then in the long run, quite a lot of the Evergreen stuff, if you've done good research, can sell. I do not like chasing trends. I would say I'm probably 90-10 in terms of my split, or 95-5 maybe, where 90% of it is just straight evergreen stuff. Now, I don't shy away from niches that have the potential to trend. So like the dad niche that does well around Father's Day. This is an evergreen niche that I'm happy to enter because I know it sees spikes throughout the year, and there is multiple others like that that'll do well throughout different events or occasions of the year. But yeah, that's 90%, and then 5% perhaps on holidays, and another 5% on testing out trends if I think that it's worth testing them out, but it doesn't happen as often. I think the main kind of trends that I'm interested in are the really strong cultural ones, like the 6-7, which is still selling well and has been for probably half a year now. So if there's a trend like that goes kind of global and stays there and almost becomes a little bit of an evergreen niche, then yeah, I'll definitely go into those. But trend chasing, as in uploading something related to the newest news story, I don't really do that much at all. That's a good question. My first instinct says if you're new, then choose a free tool. But since you're saying only one tool, the problem with most free options is that they might help you create a design, but then you still need to go to another tool to do the upscaling, another tool to do the background removal. So there is a chain of lots of tools rather than just one. So if I was a beginner and I wanted to just use one tool, it should be something easy. So I think it would have to be Kittle. Kittle is very user-friendly, intuitive, and it has all of the things built in that you need to go from research to finished design that you can upload to your marketplace of choice. You're not going to have to use other tools other than Kittle, really. So that's probably the one I would say in this case. I think that this one's very easy to answer. It's definitely copying bestsellers. That's been a thing since the beginning. It still is, just, copying the design and the phrase exactly and expecting it to do just as well as the other one that's been uploaded 2 years ago. It doesn't really work. This actually happens all the time, to be honest, because I don't really have high expectations when I upload something new. I tend to just intentionally keep my expectations low because I know that the majority of designs I upload do not sell. That's very common in print on demand, that you have a percentage. For a lot of people, it's around 20% of your uploads sell, and the other 80% don't sell. So I don't really have very high expectations, and therefore most of the designs that end up taking off or doing quite well is something I didn't expect to do well. And I think from speaking to a lot of YouTubers, I also know that a lot of them say like, oh, some of my best sellers, I barely upload, like I almost didn't upload them. I thought it was a bad design, or I didn't really expect it to do well, and then it turned into a bestseller. So that definitely happens a lot. Yeah, I think that answers that question. That is a really good question, and it's a tough one because I do think tier 10 has definitely become harder since the time that I was in tier 10. What I did is buy 10 shirts, and then I think probably a month later I was tiered up. Now I still think buying your own designs gives you an edge if you can do it, because the percentage of designs sold is one of the factors. It's not anymore about getting 10 sales to get out of the tier. It's about having a high percentage of your design slots sell. And that's all we know, really. We don't know what the percentage is. But technically, if I uploaded 10 designs and bought each one of them, I should have 10 out of 10 and 100% percentage sold out of my designs, which should make me eligible for a tier up. But tier ups have also become more slow. So 30-day plan, I would get onto finding some decent evergreen niches that have decent demand, maybe low to medium competition. And I would upload one design to each, and then just one after another purchase the t-shirt. Just order it to get that sale percentage up. And the reason I'm choosing evergreen here, not trends, is because I know I can buy the shirts, which will give them a BSR, and that will hopefully get some of these to sell on a regular basis. And that would give me at least some extra sales, maybe even a bit of extra income whilst I'm waiting for a tier up, because I know that tier ups are taking longer right now, and I can't guarantee that even if I buy 10 shirts that I get tiered up, but at least I might still be getting some sales. If I only went after trends, then I would not really be making reoccurring sales, even if I bought the shirts myself, because most of the trends probably fizzle out after a while. So yeah, that would be my game plan. Very tough situation. It was back then, but it does feel even tougher right now. But that's what I would do personally. Another really good question. I might have to steal some of these from our own podcast. They're really good. So I think no matter how good your research and design quality, if you're not consistent, you're not going to do well. And I also think my success is attributed largely to the fact that I've been consistent. Sure, I've had weeks, maybe months where I haven't really done too much other than change prices or optimize the ad campaign. But generally, throughout all 7 years, I've always uploaded a lot each year and definitely put in the work. So consistency, I think, is the biggest one. If we had to do it in percentages, I would say that one's like 50% I attribute to consistency. I don't think I have the best research. I don't think I have the best design quality, but being consistent has definitely helped me out a lot. So that's like 50% of the story. Then I think research is slightly more important than design. They're both important, by the way. All these three are important, but I would say 30% of my success is down to research, and then 20% design quality. Because I believe, even if you have the best design in the world, if your research is off or you're just in the wrong niche, you're not going to sell it. If your research is really on point and you're in a good niche that you've found, a good ratio of demand and competition, then your design doesn't have to be amazing and it will still sell. So yeah, for me, I think 30% research, 20% design quality, and 50% consistency. Right, that's a really good one. There's two things that come to mind. One is probably less shocking. and I'm going to start with that one. So the fact that most of your uploads never sell, and this is true for almost everyone who does POD, like more than half of the designs that you create and upload will not sell. And this is the same for YouTubers as well. I think that is not talked about a lot because it doesn't sound sexy. Like, you might assume that we have some secret ingredient, secret hack or whatever that makes sure that whatever we upload actually sells, or we just pump so much money into ads, everything sells. But no, it's not that way. It just isn't. Oftentimes it's 80-20, right? So 20% of the designs you upload end up selling, 80% don't. And that doesn't sound amazing, especially if you're teaching print on demand, but it is the reality. But that's something that I think people are aware of, and YouTubers have also talked about and mentioned before. So I think something that's less talked about, because it's not sexy, is that it definitely is tough as a YouTuber to maintain your POD business whilst focusing on YouTube as well. Even though it is advertised as passive income, if you don't do anything with your POD, it does stagnate and eventually also drop off in sales. And I think there is probably a lot of YouTubers who focus on YouTube so much that they might have lost the passion for POD, or they've maybe been distracted from it for so much because they're trying to grow their YouTube, that their sales have dropped. And that's not a sexy thing to put out there. I've been very fortunate that my sales have been going up year after year since I started doing YouTube, but I've also been grinding still. I've outsourced some of the work to help me in terms of time management to be able to do both. So sometimes I create designs myself, sometimes I'll outsource designs to save a bit of time that I can then put into YouTube, but it's not easy to keep the numbers there if you're doing both. So that's probably not a very sexy thing. And I also think, like, if I didn't do YouTube, or any YouTuber, if we only focused on print on demand, our shops and our sales would be way higher. So that lack of focus on the primary business definitely hurts sales. It doesn't mean that everyone's sales are going down or stagnant in the YouTube world. That's definitely not what I'm trying to say. But for some people, that will be the reality. It's not something that sounds sexy to talk about. Good questions. I think I'll just start with the first one here about something that's happening inside the group that people on the outside don't realize. So Merch Mastermind is my school community, which Niche Please, or the owner of the Niche Please channel, is also a member of, very successful member of. And the obvious stuff is we do courses in there. We do training calls every week. We share niches. We share prompts each week to help people out. That's all in the packaging. But I think what people don't realize is that there is a big community of very, very positive people, very talented people that are all there to help each other grow their sales. And they're all optimistic. There's tons of people that are sharing niches openly that are working for them, that are sharing gems that they've created with the group, that are giving feedback on designs if they see that they can help someone. So it's not all about me and Adam just constantly providing content. There is a really, really positive, uplifting, optimistic community of members that are helping each other out, and that all have a common goal of making more money with POD. And that's amazing to see. And I think the power of that is something that people don't realize as well. Because if you surround yourself with that kind of environment and those kinds of people, you're way more likely to succeed. Like the tide lifts all boats kind of thing. If you're in a space or surrounded by people who are really negative and only focus on the negative, which exists in every business, then you're a lot less likely to actually reach your goals. And that's also one of the things I'm most proud of is just how helpful members are, and how much they're sharing openly and wanting others to succeed in the group as well. So that's something people don't realize, I would say. The next part of the question was, who is it actually for? Who's it not for? So I would say it's for people that want to quit their 9 to 5. I think print on demand is a huge opportunity, a great vehicle for that, because you don't really need to invest a lot to get there other than your time. You need internet, you need a PC, and maybe a few subscriptions, but even for like $50 a month, $100 a month with like lots of different tools, you just need your time. And with time, you can build up enough income to quit your 9 to 5. And so many people have done it before you. So many people are doing it right now. And that's why that's definitely like, if you are that, if you're sick of your 9 to 5, Merch Mastermind is right for you, because there's people in there right now who are, getting closer and closer to that goal, and probably going to reach it this year, where their print-on-demand income will surpass their 9 to 5 income, which is amazing. And it's also for different types of sellers. So we have Amazon merch content, and there is definitely a focus on Amazon merch, but there's also Etsy content, Etsy courses, Etsy training calls, and the niches and the prompts that we share also work on Etsy. We have tons of sellers that are getting success, sharing wins with Etsy stores, but it is both for Amazon and Etsy sellers, and it's also for all sorts of levels. So whether you're in tier 10, whether you're a brand new seller and you're not on Amazon yet, or whether you're an advanced seller, maybe you're already making six figures a year. We do have some people like that in the group. You're still going to learn something new, and you'll still be in the best environment to grow your sales, because everyone is so positive. And we have some very advanced tools and courses in there, methods that you probably haven't seen before. So it's for all kinds of levels, beginner friendly and expert friendly. And who is it not for? It's definitely not for anyone who's looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. Print-on-demand is not get-rich-quick. It does take time and dedication. It's not easy. Merch Mastermind is also not for people who are negative, pessimistic, and always complaining and, not actually helpful. Like, if you're a bad person, we don't want you in there, and we're going to ban people that are, spreading toxic energy. And if you're not motivated enough to create like more than 2 or 3 designs a week, I would say it's also not really for you, because you do have to put in some work. That's kind of, related to the get rich quick thing. If you think you can just do 2 designs a week and you'll do well, probably not going to happen. And if you're limited in terms of your slots on Amazon merch and you say, I can't do more than 2, there is other avenues like Etsy to make money. And it's definitely not for stubborn sellers. So if you're stuck in your ways and you're not open to adapt to the changes on the marketplaces out there, to new AI tools and workflows, if you're really stubborn and you want to, keep everything the same and not improve, not grow, then that's also the wrong place for you. So yeah, hope that gives a bit of an overview of what Merch Mastermind is and who it's for.